What's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the EVGA 3090 FTW3 Ultra Gaming Edition. That's a tongue twister, but it is a sweet card. If you saw my last video, you saw I unboxed it, looked at the measurements, and what's included in the box of a basically $2,000 graphics card. So today we're going to look at the more nitty-gritty, the benchmarks, the overclocking, and the decibels and heat that this thing creates from gaming. So what I got up here is Precision X1 for the overclocking. I got 3D Mark with Time Spy for the benchmarks. And we'll do a little bit of gaming as well because I want to game on it. So you'll see what the FPS looks like and the heat and everything else. So we got a lot to look at. Let's get started. Let's get into this. I have 3D Markup, which is a benchmarking software if you're unfamiliar. We're going to be using the Time Spy program to start here for standard non-overclocked performance. As you can see, I got a score of 17,670, which is pretty much the score to beat because I'll be testing the same program with overclocking. And then you can also see the graphics score of 19,238 with a couple other metrics on here. But really the big number we're looking for is the 17,670 because it'll give us I guess a benchmark to work towards, more like work on beating with the overclocking. I'm also going to go through a couple more tests from 3D Mark that you'll see on the screen just so you can get an idea of how good this card is even without overclocking. Alright, now's the fun part. Let's overclock this beast to see just how much power we can pull from it. So let's head over to Precision X1, which is EVGA's overclocking software. It's free. You can get it on their website. It also features the ability to change the LED stuff, but we're not going to look at that today. So let's start here. The first thing I want to do is increase fan speed to 100, just to make sure that is not a bottleneck at all for the card. I'm also going to increase the power and GPU temp targets all the way to the top. They're linked automatically, so you just drag one of the sliders and you're good to go. Apply that. Now I'm also going to increase voltage to 100% just to make sure there's no limits on this thing so it can go as overclocked as it can. I also have the overclocked switch flipped. Alright, let's start the GPU clock and memory clock here. I'm going to start GPU clock at 100 and we'll start memory at 500 just to see how this runs and give us kind of a base to see just how well it does. So we'll apply that, save, and then let's run Time Spy. Also, it's worth noting that everybody's system is different. Even if you have the exact same card I do, your overclocking results are likely going to be different than mine. So don't just copy the numbers I use here. Definitely test it for yourself to see what your system can handle. Alright, now we're actually starting to get somewhere. So we got a score of 17,949, which is compared to our original score here of 17,674. So an increase of about 300 points roughly, which is overclocked at 100 GPU and 500 memory. So let's increase it a little bit more and test this out again. So let's try 200 and we'll try 1,000. And apply that, save, and let's give this a go. So 1,000 memory and 200 GPU errored out on me, which means it's too large of an overclock on this GPU. So what I'm going to do here is knock down memory to 800 and let's say GPU 120, and let's give that one a go. Alright, so now we have 800 memory clock and 120 GPU clock, and we got a score of 18,465. So we're getting close to 1,000 points above stock. So I'm going to keep upgrading this. Let's try 130 and 1,000. And then we'll give that a go and see how it works. So this is at 130 clock GPU, 1,000 memory. Looks like our score went down just a touch, so I think I'm going to adjust some settings here, maybe go down to 900 memory, keep it at 130 clock GPU, and just give that a shot. Let's see if that helps at all get up. Otherwise, it's looking like we may be at the breaking point for overclocking, so we'll give it a shot and see what happens. So I got another error out at 900 clock memory and 130 GPU. I think the 800 memory 120 GPU was the perfect overclocking for this system with a score of 18,465 on time spy. It seems like anything higher than that, I just keep getting errors or the score goes down for some reason. So I would say I think the 800 and 120 is like the primo overclock for my card. And again, every card's different. Even if you have the exact same one, it's going to overclock differently. So make sure you test it yourself before you just put in the numbers, because you may not have a stable overclock at all. Now let's look at the decibels this GPU puts out. So I think it's worth noting also here that my other fans are currently on, so they're providing noise. So I kept those the same percentage through all these tests. So you'll notice that the decibels do go up slightly as I turn on the GPU fans more, but they're really not very loud. I mean, unless you're going 50 to 100% GPU fans, you're really not going to notice it much. Now let's move on to some Call of Duty Warzone gameplay. As you can see, it's a little bit cropped. I don't know why it's shooting this way. I'm on a 1440p monitor. I could not get it to record 1440p for some reason. It just wants to crop 1080p. I'm still working on that, but for now, here is some gameplay to just look at. I'll get some better videos once I figure out the 1440p issue, which hopefully I'll have figured out in a day or two. But for now, just to give you an idea, I am running max settings right now. Everything's ultra, everything's high. I also have RTX ray tracing on, and I'm getting about 130 to 140 FPS pretty regularly. If it gets really hot, it might dip to 120, but that's about it. And I am running a 144 1440p monitor, so just to give you an idea what the FPS and everything is. And it looks great still. This game is notoriously just a super hog on the system. It uses every bit of GPU you can throw at it, and it's still not enough. So the fact that I can get high frames and still run max settings is pretty impressive. I'm really interested to see how it runs at 4K, which I have a 4K monitor on the way, so I will test that once it gets here in probably a week or so. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and like. Otherwise, just feel free to watch this rest of the gameplay. It was a Warzone win, so it's always a positive. And if you want me to test anything else, feel free to let me know. For now, I'll leave you with this.
They're sniping at the guys to your right.
Let me check if you're in. You're barely in. You're barely in there. Questionable, actually. Yeah, I think you're in. I think you're in.
Yeah, they ran into another team over there, so we know there's a team here. Ish. Oh,
Lord. Nice. Slippery sausage.
yeah, there's teams in this area, and you have that other team that's probably over here.
Disregard.
Let's see what you have for cover. Oh, there's a ridge back here.
Yeah, that's where that full team is, though, I bet. I haven't
Oh.
heard them shooting anything with snipers either, so it's gotta be a full team. Wait, they may have pushed up further. Oh, yeah, lay in those bushes, yeah.
I feel like they can see you there. I feel like
Yeah,
the ridge is gonna be better. Wonder where he's at.
I mean, it's on the road, so.
Only 5 remain. Finish the job.
That's great.
I think it's UV3v1. Because they're still sniping, and I don't think that I've heard them fire an AR.
Oh, that
Now I
sounds
have.
close to me.
Up to your right, probably back right.
I think you almost have to third party at this point. I know it's not, because if it ends up 1-on-3, yeah, they're going to kill that guy, and it's going to be 1-on-3. You might have to just start trying to pick them off.
Oh, straight ahead. Yep.
Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone.
Hold him off
right
this
there,
ridge.
yeah, that's
Oh.
nice.
Nice.
Gas is inbound.
UV2.
UV1.
Oh, yeah, UV1. There he
I
is.
hear him right.
No armor.
Yes!
Yeah!
Yes! Yes!
Woo!
Damn! You cleaned up on that.
Oh, that was good.
That was sticky, my man. That was sticky.
Some good call outs, though. Good call outs on cover. Man, adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that was a solo clutch win. You came in
Yeah,
when
the
there was
most-
still like 15
The most
up.
clutch moment was definitely killing the two guys at the bunker.
Right?
For
That was
3.
nuts. I had like a sliver
Yeah.
of health.
I know, it was so
Yeah, you
close. That sniper team got overconfident. But that's the only way to win, really. You can't wait for them to kill the last solo. You have to third party it.
Yep.
That was
And
the
that's
perfect
why
time
I
to third
hate
party.
random people
Yeah, it was.
online. Because that happened to me all the time on Fortnite, where